record. Then I'm going to get my thing here to share. All right, I'm going to share my screen with you folks. Thanks for joining. This is going to be action-packed and a lot of stuff. So we've got a lot to do in the hour. So let's rock and roll. How about that? Let's see, share screen. I'm going to share with you this one. So I need feedback. Can you see that? Can you see?
Yes, I can see that.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, well, let's get going. Like I said, there's a lot to cover here. I love, if you wouldn't mind, I love having you put your mug, your lovely mug on the camera. That's always super helpful to me. If not, I understand. You can mute yourself. That's great. That way, if you have a call or something that comes in, hopefully it won't because you've got yourself muted. All right, so I can unmute you. So here we go. 4 keys to attract and retain amazing staff. So we want to be confident in the competence of our team. All right, we are ready to go here. I think, go, click, there we go. So by the end of the hour of this workshop, I'm going to uncover 4 strategies that transform hiring and training from being stressed out about turnover to having calm and confidence in your team. I'm going to ask you to take some notes and to participate because I'm going to give you a lot. I want you to be confident in the competence of your team, but I know that at the end of a webinar, there's always things that you think, oh my gosh, there's so much to do. I don't particularly want to leave you in that stress mode. All righty, there we go. So here's the agenda. I'm going to do the presentation, educate, hopefully challenge you, open you to ideas and opportunities. I definitely want your participation. I don't know if we were in person. So I definitely want your participation. I want you to drop questions into the chat. And at the very end, I'm going to ask you to share your ahas and your Q&A, okay? So now is the time. Pick up that phone. Mine isn't off. So please make your workspace as distraction-free as possible. Turn off the phone. Hopefully you shut your door. You shut down your computer windows. I know that it's super tempting to check on Facebook, but we're going to be moving quick. And also shut that your email down. That would be great. And please participate because it's super helpful. I would like, because I'm asking you to shut down all your windows, there's a reason for me to invite you to have a pen and paper out. A pen and paper is a way for you to jot some notes. It's incorporating a new learning style for you. This is something that you can think of, oh, applying to my staff. I know it sounds old school, but it definitely works. You've got a blank slate here with your pen and paper or pencil and paper or whatever you want to use. And that's where I want you to write some notes and things down. All right, so because at the end, I'm going to ask, what are your Q&As and your ahas? So if we were all together, I would say, hey, maybe put the date at the top, put my name, put Q&As and ahas on there so that you can have a little space to prompt your brain for what it is we're going to learn. All right, so first opportunity to interact is coming up soon. So I want to know, I'm curious, if you were in this room, I would ask you, so I'm going to have you put it in the chat. I want to know if you are here there's 4 reasons. Like if you're tired of interviewing tire pickers or like taking any warm body, and full disclosure, I know we're all in COVID and probably that's a lot of people for hiring. You're thinking, I will take anybody if they breathe. If that's you, that's reason number 1. Reason number 2, that you would like your employees, your staff, particularly your frontline staff, which is that front-facing customer service staff, to be independent and excellent. Independent and excellent, consistently. Right? That was a major frustration for me. That might be something that resonates with you. Reason number 3 is you would like to take some stress-free time off. Oh my gosh, that means without your phone dinging and people calling and saying, how do I do this? How do I fix that problem? How do I deal with this difficult customer? This is a big one. This is a big one, especially if you own your own business, to be able to actually, for real, disengage. And reason number 4 is that you think, Oh my God, I do not know how to train people skills, customer service skills, soft skills, and no shame if you don't, because it's hard to teach people how to be good people and to serve. It's difficult. So of those 4 reasons, maybe it's one, which one or two resonate the most with you? I would love for you to put them in the chat right now, just put the numbers, and that way I can see where you are and hopefully help alleviate your stress. So what you got for me? I know you're thinking, I just wanted to watch this webinar. I'm like, nope, not gonna happen. What resonates with you folks? 1, 2, 3, or 4, or all, or a couple. Is that chat open? Or you can unmute yourself if you'd like. A bunch of shy. Oh, good. There we go. Oh, mostly 2 and a little 4. Yeah. Okay. Good deal. Okay. If you, yeah.
I have played around with my settings and somehow I don't have the chat. So I'm trying to figure that out.
Okay. Okay. That's all right. So what one do you can pop on and share if you want, that's totally fine.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely people being independent and excellent, of course, and then having time off. I mean, without constantly being on call.
Yeah, okay, perfect. And then, oh, number 2, wanting people to care more too. Get it? Okay. These are real pain points that it's nice to have this space to talk with other business owners and the chamber leader extraordinaire and myself as a coach that gets it. I mean, even sometimes being heard is super helpful. So that's what I'm here to do, is to support you, encourage you, be your champion today for this hour, and hopefully give you some new ideas and some things that you can insert into the process to alleviate some of those crappy stressors about hiring. So a couple of you know about me, some of you don't. I was a business owner. I walked in to a little tiny town. I walked into a 3-story brick building built in 1907, and I fell in love. It was beautiful. It had no furniture except for some Gone with the Wind drapes. And you see that staircase? Yes, there was a Gone with the Wind moment on the staircase, but there was not a stitch of furniture, and the landscaping needed overhaul. And it was in various stages of restoration. It hadn't been open since the 1940s, and this was 2006. I had a big job ahead of me, and it was located in a town of 600 people. That's not very many. So I see my clients were 2 hours away. When I walked in the back door, this is what I had in my mind. So the pictures of before and after, that's what I saw in my mind's eye, and ended up creating a destination wedding event center and a boutique hotel that attracted people time and time, and I'll talk about recurring revenue. It just attracted them. I think the winner was 3 times in 10 years that they've been there. And reminder, it's in Newport. There's a town of 600 people, not very many. I didn't get there overnight to be able to not be available all the time for those weddings. At the beginning, I was there, and it was very long days, very long weekends. That's not, of course, what I wanted to end up. I wanted my weekends off or some time off. The way that I did that was to create independent, amazing staff. Bar none. That's how it had to happen. And that's what I'll go over today to give you some of these tricks. They're not tricks. They're things. They're business applications. So you can read a couple of these. Denise is not me, obviously. Charming Vintage Hotel, Denise and her crew. This is when I was not there on the weekend. Denise and her crew were amazing and kind. The breakfast in the morning was delicious. Some of the best I've had. Got the granola recipe. We stayed at the vault to attend the wedding. Denise and their team. This was not with me. Did a wonderful job looking after us that weekend. And then this is our second stay. Samantha and her crew, our great hosts, go out of their way. I can't wait for my 3rd visit. So it can happen. It can happen. So this is me before. I was stressed out about hiring. It never happens at the best time. I feel you. Murphy's Law. People will give you their notice 2 weeks before a giant event or before you have a big something or other you're having to do. I hated it. I was tied to my work. I interviewed everyone because I was new, and much like now, kind of are interviewing everyone because there's such a shortage. I get that. And I felt like I was a constant broken record with training the same things that I thought, oh my gosh, did they know this? But they didn't. And I moved to, like I said, the recurring visitors that you see on the top, where they returned, Beth and Andy returned 10 times in 3 years. And interviewing the most qualified and interested people, right? Not everybody, and confidently letting go. And I created and utilized programs to help me accomplish that. So that's what I'm hoping to get you to today. So there's a thing called future pacing. You might have heard of it, but this is what we want to put ourselves into, right? We want to imagine this so that we can create it. Imagine interviewing hungry, qualified people and having a team that allows you to confidently lead your business communication, knowing they're equipped to serve your customers with the quality of interactions you expect. That's what we want to imagine ourselves being in that position. It's possible, okay? Because you're not desperate, you're desirable. You are desirable. I get it right now. You're thinking, oh my gosh, Samantha, I am a little desperate right now. We don't want to stay there. I get it. There's supreme hiring shortages, but we still can work around it. I want you to embrace this. Your desire, not that. So there's 4 steps on your paper that you have with you. Take out your pen and paper where you have Q&A and you have aha moments. There are going to be 4 areas that you can take notes on. Step number 1, the first area is mindset. That's the first thing I'm going to tackle. The second one is, I call it attracting. If you're a great little scribbler or you make little pictures, you can copy my pictures, but these pictures help to anchor information in your brain. So yes, I would say mindset, I would say attracting, and I might even put a little picture by it. Or if you have colors, make them color coded. Okay. Step 3 is fishing, casting our net, trying to find all those fabulous people. And then step 4 is training. I know that this is a lot to cover in a short amount of time, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it, by golly. The first step for notes is the mindset. Okay, a mindset shift. Here's me, for real. When I would think about hiring, my shoulders were up here. It's stressful. I mean, put an amen in the chat if you think it's one of the banes of your existence. No business owner that I know says, I love trying to find and attract and then retain and train my staff. It's my favorite part of what I do. No one ever. No, and it's okay. Business owners get in business because they're passionate about their product or service, not because they're passionate about training people. Well, I like that part. So I'll help you. I'll help you. So I had to move from reactive to proactive to save my sanity, to get to the place where I got reviews like you saw before when it said Denise and her team, Denise and her crew. It's great. So here's the quiz part, rapid fire quiz. Hopefully you've got your little fingers ready to go and you can type in the chat. This is guessing. I would like you to guess how long you think it takes for new hires to reach full productivity. It's a range, of course, depending on the industry and whatnot. What do you think? How long, from how many weeks to how many weeks? Like, do you think 2 to 4? What is it? Type that in the chat right now, and then I'll give you the answer. There's no wrong answers. It's just a guess, and it's important. And if you can't find your chat, you're welcome to unmute yourself. 24 weeks. All right. Good guess. Searching for one more. I know you're going, oh, rapid fire. Any guesses?
I would say 18 weeks.
18 weeks. Okay. I will type it in the chat for you. All right. Here's the answer. 8 to 20. I am very impressed and surprised that you all actually guessed as long as you did. Most of the time, people guess much sooner. They're thinking, you know, I can get somebody up and running in 6 weeks. It takes from 8 to 20 weeks to get someone to full productivity. This is important because it ties to our mindset shift. Now, of course, this ranges based on, like I said, what type of an industry it is and the type of job. But 8 to 20 weeks, that's a long time. Now, while that person, it's important to note, mental note, you might want to write this down, while that person is working on getting up to full productivity, they're getting up to full speed, anybody who is helping to equip and train them is also not up to full productivity. So it's compounding. It's not just costing you money for that one hire, it's other people as well. So next quiz question, here we go. I might just unmute you all and have you just say the word. How much time are you wasting? On average, business owners spend what percentage of their time on non-revenue generating activities, such as hiring? What do you think? What's your guess? Percentage. You think you spend, I don't want to leave the witness. What do you think?
For me, it's probably at least 15, 20%.
Okay, 15 to 20%. That's good. I mean, I just kind of 15%. Oh my gosh, I just sort of gave away the lead, didn't I? Oh. On average, business owners spend 40% of their time on non-revenue generating activities. So, Kate, you're doing amazing. You're doing amazing. That's
well,
on
that was just hiring. The rest, way more non-revenue. That's just hiring.
Just hiring. Okay, got it. Got it. Well, if we can switch that down a little, increase your profit. All right, so the next one I call greenhorns. This question is to fill in blank. More than blank percent of all workers have in the US have been with their company less than a year. Now, keep in mind, this statistic is pre-COVID. I'm scared to see what it would be post-COVID. But what do you think that on average, more than blank percentage of all workers have been in their company less than 1 year? What do you think?
30%.
30%? Good guess. And I've got 40% coming in. And I've got 60% coming in. All right. The answer pre-COVID is 25%. So more than 25% of workers have been with their, in the US, have been with their company for less than a year. And you think, oh, that's kind of a high turnover rate. You prefer not to have that. And then the last statistic here, I call fart on a skillet. Affectionately, Americans will, on average, change jobs how many times between the ages of 18 and 37? So think, okay, 18 to 37, what are they doing? How many times, it's one number, how many times do you think that that age demographic changes jobs? I'm so curious about this, what you say.
I want to say 15, no. Yeah, maybe 15 times.
Okay, 15, great. Got 10 and an 8. All right, all righty. Well, here we go, drum roll. 10 times on average. Now, this is a pre-COVID statistic as well. Now, let me stop for a second. This does not mean, I don't want you to take away from this slide and think, oh my gosh, I'm not hiring that age group of people. No, that's not what, that would get us all into a lot of trouble. We cannot do that. And the goal here is to help to reduce the amount of time that those people, if we have them, like increase the amount of time they stay with us. Because this age demographic brings in some really important skills, knowledge, energy, and especially if we have seasonal businesses, they're really valuable. But we still have to train them. So we have to keep all this stuff in mind. Oh, sorry, I had one more. Replacement costs. This one I'm probably just going to show you for time. You can think about it in your brain. It costs about employers how much of a worker's annual salary to hire a replacement if that worker leaves. I know this is all kind of sad and depressing, isn't it? We're going to keep moving on. It costs about 33% of an annual salary to replace that person if they leave. This is why it's important that we make sure that we are optimizing our attracting, hiring, and retaining process. That's a lot of money, and small businesses feel it and take it in the chin. I should have a punching one there. So which one of these statistics surprises you the most? Quick. Time to productivity, the greenhorns, how long they stay, the fart on the skillet, the greenhorns, fart on the skillet, or how much it costs to replace. What do you all think there? What's your guess? And it can be more than one. Replacement cost is a surprise.
Replacement costs.
Yeah. That's, yep, you guys, replacement cost and replacement cost. It surprised me as well. And no shame not to know these. I want to stop and say that, right now, when I had my own small business, I didn't have time to go research all this stuff. I was dependent on other people to help and, educate me about this kind of stuff. So, but what you are becoming is more savvy, you're becoming more educated, and you can always make better decisions when you are. Okay, so it's not to be depressing, it's just knowledge, All right, so let's guess. Using the knowledge that we have, I'm going to ask you for a month. If you want staff ready to rock and roll for your Memorial Day event, which is May 30th, when do you think you should have advertised that? I know this is fast mental math. I would be scribbling on my notes. What's the month you guess, or what's the date you guess people have to, like, you would need to post that job?
It have to be, if they're independent working on their own, have to be January.
Right, January. Yep, and I've got January as well. Yeah. So I love the way you're thinking. Oh, I love the way you guys are thinking. Because what I did is I took just the minimums of those. So at a minimum, we'd have to have our hire date of the 4th. And this is, you can double check my math, but I think I got it right. The hire date being 8 weeks before. That means they need to have 2 weeks time to give people 2 weeks notice. If anybody ever came to me and they said, oh, I can start tomorrow, that was a red flag for me, even if I was super desperate. And then I would need to post for the job by March 7th so that I could actually have some time to vet. So I love that you guys are thinking back that long. Hopefully that's encouraging and not depressing. So the second stage, so we're armed with our knowledge. We know now we need to be proactive, very proactive, not reactive, right? Don't wait until, oh my gosh, 2 weeks before Memorial Day, or when someone gives me 2 weeks notice. If I know that Memorial Day is when I'm really needing to have everybody up and ready to go, we back up and we think, okay, this gives me more lead time, and my shoulders, as a result, just start to relax because you're not behind the barrel. Okay? So second thing I'm going to talk about quickly is attracting. How do we attract the right kind of person? Because again, you don't want to be interviewing everyone. Remember, you're desperate. No, I'm sorry, you're not desperate. That's terrible. You're not desperate. You're desirable. That's the goal. Again, no. So, and these are desired employee characteristics. When I just did a quick inventory of local business owners, these are their words. And you can feel free to, if I have time, I will read what you write in the chat. But these are the desired characteristics that I think I surveyed 5 business owners that have retail and service operations here in the Gorge. And this is what they said. They said, I would like them to be an initiative taker. I would like them to take initiative. They said, I would like them to be open to learning and growing. I would like them to be problem solvers. Amen to that. So you're not on the phone all the time. I would like them to be a high performer. Now that one is it's very loose. Like that means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. They would like them to be reliable. Who doesn't? My goodness, it's terrible, because if someone doesn't show up and you have a service-based business, you get to do it. I was there. And they would like them to be a hard worker. You have other things that you think are your desired employee characteristics, and these are important for you to know and just even start identifying them. Okay. So the reason I asked that question is because of this. This is a book. You're going to go, wow, this is dated. I'm going to show you this picture. Top Grading by Bradford Smart. I think he's updated. I could just take the book jacket off. I'll put the link in the notes for you. So what I learned when I read this book was, we'll go copy, and I'll put this link in the chat. There you go. Oh, and by the way, all of the links that I have, first, I would encourage you to buy local, to pay for a book. Buy at your local bookstore. If you are not keen on that, I know Amazon is very easy. Before you do Amazon, I would ask that you use bookshop.org. And I put in there, it's an affiliate link, but each, they support independent small business owners, indie independent bookstore owners. So all of their sales, portions of those go to those specific bookstores. So I would just ask that you use that link or buy from the local bookstore. So this book, I'm going to sum up for you because it is dry as a bone. I'm not kidding. It is written for big corporations, but what it did for me was it taught me the things I just taught you about backing up so that our on ramp is a lot longer. It saved my bacon. And someone remind me at the end to tell you the two hints or two ways that a person has just found a person. Hopefully I won't forget that. So top rating. So what he says, he categorizes people in 3 categories: A players, B players, and C players. A players, basically, in a nutshell, are initiative takers. These are the people that have those desired characteristics that we just talked about. These are the people that you're looking for. We're making a schematic for them, and we are looking actively for them. B players are people who are in your organization that are pretty good, but they need a bit more coaching and training and support. Okay? C players, go ahead them. They're just the ones that you would like them to move on and find a better fit somewhere else. Those are A players, B players, and C players. All right. We have to know who we are looking for. This is why. This is super fascinating. Companies managed by A players have 94% higher profits. If you think about it, it just makes sense. 94% higher profits. We want those people. So, question: where the heck are they? Where the heck are they? Right now, you're thinking, okay, with COVID, they're basically at home waiting for their opportunity. I tell you, with some of the hiring bonuses that I've seen lately, I've been tempted to jump back into retail myself. So where are they? They're either waiting for the right opportunity, and we'll talk about what that looks like, or they already have a job. A players typically are not sitting around on their laurels. Okay, so but we can work with that. We can work with that. So if we know where they are, the next question is, well, what the heck are they looking for? What are these A players looking for? What's going to motivate them either to get off wherever they are, the couch, which is not where A players usually are, but basically get out of their house and come work for me, or that person that I go to at the coffee shop that's an A player, I can tell what's going to motivate them to leave where they are and come work for me. We have to set ourselves up for this, and it saves us a lot of money. So these are some things people are looking for. This is taken out of, I will give you the links to these books. There's 2 books here. I will show you them again in a minute. There's the languages of appreciation in the workplace and Work Happy. People are not just motivated by money. Yes, it's a motivator, but time and time again, right now, one of the only things I'm seeing when I see job applications out there is this giant signing bonus, and it's like $500 to $1,000, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, that hurts my heart. That's a lot of money for a small business. Money is definitely one of them, but there's a lot of other things that are motivating for these A players. Like, how satisfied are they in their job? Does it have an aligned purpose? Is it connected? Is the place that they work aligned with their mission and purpose and their values? Well, if they don't know what those values are, they cannot certainly align with them. Some people are these A players, they look for leadership. They don't want to come in and run the store, right? They want to come in and have some direction. They want to be nurtured, or they want to know there's a way that they can become, they can advance their skills or their knowledge, okay? They might want recognition. They might want to be a contributor. Maybe it's the way they feel valued is to be a contributor. There's lots of different ways people are motivated. If we don't ask though, we don't know. And there's an important thing that we don't want to do. Get this in. So communicating appreciation in the workplace is a workshop that I do. I'm going to put these 2 links in the chat. There's one of them. That is for, let's see, this is for the first book, the 5 languages of appreciation in the workplace. Now, you might be familiar with the 5 love languages, and yes, touch is one of those, but it definitely looks different in the workplace. But this workbook is one that if you don't have, I would highly recommend it. The other one that I based this workshop off of is this one here, and it is in the chat if you want to grab it. And it's called Work Happy by Joe Geisler. And I love it. I think this, the phrase, my favorite phrase from this book is don't be a boss fool. But it's fantastic. And in the workshop, we go through and identify specifically, so you don't have to guess. You don't want to have to guess how your people feel appreciated. And it should be just part of your onboarding process. If you're interested in something like a workshop, just on your notes, write workshop and in bold letters, and then just email me that and I'll know what you're talking about. So here's what some people said when I've done this, which makes me happy. I couldn't believe 2 hours went so fast. At the beginning, I thought another meeting I will attend. You can hear another meeting I have to attend because I had to. In the end, I thoroughly enjoyed the meeting and training. And I know who this was from, and this was my favorite. Another said, love this, interesting and informative and helpful. We did this workshop just post-COVID. So it was one of the first in-person times together. Definitely was bonding people. Question. Unmute yourself if you want. Well, I'm just going to have you think about it because I don't want you to be embarrassed. What motivates you? What motivates you? Write down 2 things. What motivates you? If I'm writing down my 2 things, I would write down specific gifts, and I would write down verbal accolades in front of others. So those are my specific motivators. Those are my highest, whatever, they float my boat the most. Here's the important takeaway that I would like you to write down. What motivates me does not necessarily motivate my staff. Your motivators, my motivators are not the same motivators that my staff is. I would write some of them notes and they'd still have them, I swear. For me, not so much. But if I didn't have, I wouldn't know. All right, moving right along, we're going good on time. Okay, the next step is fishing. Currently, well, this was my state, and this might be your state, is fishing. We take a gill net and we throw it out over the water, and we bring in any fish and we throw it in the pot and eat it. That's not what we want to do with hiring when it comes to hiring. We don't want to send out our gill net and grab every single person because they're not all A players. That would be firmly putting us in that 40% waste of time, right? I did this, been there, done that. I was so desperate because I wasn't giving myself enough time and because I didn't identify what qualities I was looking for, and I didn't set up my process to vet for those qualities without me having to be the one-on-one person asking these questions. I was in that 40% of that time, definitely. So remember, you're not desperate, you're desirable. You're desirable. Damn it. Can I say that? You are very desirable. Business owners are the boss. You're the bomb. Yeah, you're desirable. And you'll get more desirable if you set these things up for you. Excuse me. Excuse me. All right. One of the things that helps my sanity greatly and that I work with business owners to do is to use the tools that you have available 24/7. That means the internet, your social, the web, automatic downloads, email sequences. They're out there already. They don't call in sick. Right? They work 24 hours and you don't have to pay them extra. Right? Use the tools you have 24/7 when we set things up to attract the right kind of people. Okay, we'll go into some of those ideas here. What I don't want you to do, which is where I was, so again, no shade or shade thrown here. It's best not to be interviewing everyone. I was there. If you have a generic application, one of the things you might write down in your notes is update my application. Because a generic application, there's some things that I added to my application from this book that I'm happy to share with you if you want, that I thought were crazy, but I did it anyway, and my results were huge. Like, asking them for the name and contact of their previous two bosses, and asking them a rating about why did they leave? Was it like from their own reason or somebody else's reason? A bunch of ways I could set things up in that application so that I could glean a little bit more information. Because you and I both know sometimes people interview very well and it doesn't always translate to a great A player. So generic application, if you have that, I would suggest updating it. And I would also not just have them fill out an application, right? Make a job description. Do have some self-filtering processes, some self-filtering things that will help them to self-filter out. Like we're fishing, right? We're not casting our net. We're putting specific bait out there and we're putting that bait into the water. We put that specific bait out there because we know we have our mission, our values. We know what we're looking for. We know they have to be able to lift a certain amount of whatever, the specific bait. So our little fishes that they're fishing by, they can sniff our bait and decide on their own at midnight if they want, do I want to bite this one or do I want to keep going? It's so self-filtering, that's what I'm talking about. So have that job description, have it online using your tools so that they can download it and look at it on their own. I don't want to wait for them to like waste my time to send it to them. Put that personality and mission in there because remember, sometimes A players, what motivates them is that you have a common shared mission and purpose. And that could be even that you are valuing people and you can show that. And then ask people to do stuff. Ask them to do stuff because you're desirable. If you don't want to push a rope, don't hire a rope. They can go do some work. I had people go and they had to look at our latest TripAdvisor review. They had to go and they had to look up something else on a video that we did, okay? So there's lots of fun, creative ways we can search for and find these people. I'm going to tell you 2 stories of some duds so you can feel my pain. I was in the desperate zone. I put out the application or the job posting and I hired, I had my staff there. I was ready for the interview, so I'm paying money to have my staff there. In walks a woman who's late. First of all, not the greatest first impression. She looked disheveled and literally the first things out of her mouth were, oh my gosh, I didn't realize it took this long to get here. I've got childcare and yada yada, it's on the other side of the Dells and blah, blah, blah. I proceeded to listen to 5 minutes of her talking about why it wouldn't work to work here. I thought, well, that was a complete waste of my time. Complete waste of my time. That's some homework I should have set up for her to do before she even got to me, right? The second dud was this other woman came and she presented herself extremely well. I thought, oh, this one's great. She's going to have good customer experience and service skills. And we sat down for the interview and she proceeded to ask me all about myself, all about the hotel. She's like, she did this, no joke. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. Is that Chandelier original? I've never been here before. Can I have a tour? How did you get here? She was asking me all sorts of background questions that were not at all relevant to our interview. And those things she could have, and I should have set them up so that she got the information, the answers before she got here. She was not a hire. When I made some changes, I got Amelia the Amazing. I had the job description. I had some things they had to do before they were even allowed to sit in front of me and hopefully not waste my time. They had an application made for me. They had to give their resume. I had in there that they would have to have their OLCC permit, their food handler's license, and they would have eventually, I said, to take this on their own time. I said on their own time, an Oregon 2-care training, which was put out by Travel Oregon at the time, online for free, and it was 3 hours. Okay. All those things I had expected. Like, these are my expectations because I want you to be able to work with our team. I want you to fit in with our team. Amelia the Amazing walked into my my hotel when I was doing the application or the process with her, and she had all this done already. I was like, oh my God, a unicorn. Let me come right in. I had to keep my cool. She was prepared. She had everything. She was complete. She'd already done the training. She was my A player. Okay. So if you might not like necessarily to always train soft skills, right? If you don't, that's okay. You can write training in your notes and email me that, and I will give you some workshop information and some training information. There's lots of free things that I do for you. So that's what you want. I want you to have Amelia the Amazing. So what's your bait? Ideas. Hey, you can do a video message. You definitely have to have the required skills on there. Make them go on a scavenger hunt. There's lots of ideas. You could create a recruiting video. So this one was just done by, I'm gonna put it in the chat, by Happy with soft wash. It used to be Coachon. I think it's soft wash. And he just sent me the link to his new recruiting video. Now it's fantastic. I look at it and I think, oh yes, his company mission and values are very firmly executed in this video. Anybody could watch this video at 2 a.m. and decide if they want to bite his bait to be hired. You don't have to spend a lot of money to produce a fancy video like he did. Don't have to. You can copy it. Like we don't have to be a big corporation to benefit from this. You don't have to produce a fancy video. You can do the same types of things on your own. Totally fine. All right, so I will give you, if you're not sure and you're thinking, what's the answer? I don't know what to do. I don't know how to be creative. I'm spending all my mental energy running my damn business. If that's you, here's a freebie for you. I put it in the chat, and it's 15 innovative strategies for hiring. There's to get your juices going. It's 15 ideas of things you can do to help people self-filter to decide whether or not they want to bite your bait. Yeah, I don't know. I might use a different phrase there, but decide if they would like to take the next step in your process. So that's a guide for you that helps you to get started. I had some people just actually they work a real estate agent, and she downloaded this and she created one of the ideas on there that I had, and has had some fun success with it. So that's all right. So we've gone through 3. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. Oh my goodness. So we're on to our 4th one, which is training. If we want to attract, retain quality people, we have to give them training. Now, this part on your notes, I'm going to ask you to put columns or something, 2 big bullet points, because I'm going to differentiate them and I'm going to tell you why they're important. So it's task versus skills, task training versus skills training. And the next slide, I'll give you some ideas and what I mean by that, tasks versus skills. And spoiler alert, one of them trumps the other one when you have face-to-face customer service experiences. Okay. So tasks are things that normally business owners have got down. They're like a training book, a manual, a handbook, your SOPs, that 30, 60-day onboarding. For us, it was how do you answer the phone? I had a script. And we had an answer to it. If they answered yes, they took this little diagram. If the person on the other end answered no, we went down this. I had a script because I had specific things we needed to know. So that was in our handbook. That was part of my training manual. It's a checklist. Okay. Typically, if you have if it's cleaning, you have specific ways that you want them to do things. You have specific products and that they are supposed to use, or you have specific ways you want them to greet their people, right? Okay, that's task. If I was a coffee shop owner, tasks would be making it consistently great, half sweet, hemp milk, mocha. Skills are soft skills. So you want to put this down. There's the 2 parts. Most owners are great at task training. The skills training is the other part. Customer service skills, customer experience, knowing what their value is. Soft skills, people skills. What's the other word for that? It's escaping me. Oh, might come back later. Soft skills, people skills, crikey, if you remember it, put it in the chat. But the skills training is, if not, well, it's not equally good. I would say it's even more important, and I'm going to show you why. Skills training. And again, this is not necessarily something that lots of business owners love to do. I do and have lots of things that can help you with that. This is when I did my interviews with folks, that most employees don't understand that when they start a job, they're focusing on doing the task right, which is true. They don't understand that if we do not create a great customer experience, that's what CX stands for, It doesn't matter how great of a barista you are. It doesn't matter how great of a cleaner you are. It doesn't matter how great of a real estate agent you are. Okay, that's super important. That's for a business owner. Another one said, employees don't get it, but you're talking about them. You're in charge of your own destiny. You can influence the destiny of the business where you work. Tips and bonuses are directly tied to this. This I see time and time again. If employees don't understand their value, let's say particularly at a retail shop, they don't get it. They don't get that they have tremendous influence on the financial success of the business, let's say the back of the house, mediocrity or success, and on the trajectory of that customer's day. They don't get their value. That's training skills. Okay? Most staff do not understand why customer experience is important to them and that success of the business is directly related to their success. Most people don't understand it. You and I know this as business owners, but people don't. You have to train it. And it's hard to build a culture where staff goes above and beyond. This is what I love. It's tough for them to know when to apply it, when not to, and how to go above and beyond when the client is picky and rude. I will be redoing, I'm not selling this course now. I'm going to redo it and specifically make it a little shorter. If you're interested in the course that actually does like training this stuff and you don't want to do it, you just want to put it into your onboarding, you can always email me this training. This one here is when you're not, when they're at the space where they can do all of these things, that's when you're not getting that phone call when you're on vacation, because they know what to do. They know how to fix the mistakes that will happen, and they know how to go to above and beyond to surprise and delight your customers. So these are some quick statistics. I'm just going to read them quickly. If you can give me a thumbs up or heart or whatnot on your little Zoom thing, that would be great. If this is you, 7 out of 10 consumers say they spend more money with a company that delivers great service. Have you done that? For me, I'm giving a thumbs up and a heart. Yep, absolutely. Yep, I'm glad you see it because you're on the same. If you said no, I would think you might not be a good fit. This one I love, increasing customer, oh good, I got a heart smile energy. Increasing customer retention rates by only 5% increases profits by more than 25%. Another time I'll do this, I did this talk at the chamber in the Dallas on customer experience. It is phenomenal. When a lot of times business, they focus on marketing, which is important, but I wish that you'd also think about, have a marketing budget. I need to have a customer retention budget as well. So right there, that's super important. Customer acquisition. It costs anywhere from 5 to 25% more money to acquire a new customer than to keep an existing one. When that right fit customer comes in, it pays to keep them happy and to keep them in your pipeline, because it's 6 to 7 times it's expensive to get them. So of course we want to keep them because they're worth so much more over the lifetime value at that point for customers. This one's me all over it, man. 70% of buying experiences are based on how a customer feels they're being treated. I'm not a wine drinker, very little. Like maybe a sweet white, maybe a port. My husband's not a huge wine drinker. Guess who's wine club member? Why? I don't know, we don't host wine parties. We are. Specifically at Jacob Williams, because of the experience that I've had there all 3 times that I popped by. It's phenomenal. 91% of unhappy customers, will always have those people, who will not willingly do business with you again. Typically, it's on staff mistake. Resolve a complaint in your customer's favor. They will do business with you 70% of the time. So it pays, because remember, it costs a lot to acquire them and keep them. If we can fix those mistakes that are going to happen, which I love helping people fix those mistakes, take the pressure off, it's going to happen. You just need a formula of how to make this, turn this crown upside down. So this is where I want you to kind of make the connection. It's powerful and profitable to make sure staff not only trained in the skills, because remember the first slide, I said skills versus tasks. Skills win over tasks every time. Case in point. If I go get a half scoop of milk mocha, first time, and it's phenomenal, I'm excited to get my mocha, and the person behind the counter is a jerk and they ignore me and blah, blah, blah. I leave and I didn't buy anything extra, and I leave and I'm grouchy. There's lots of coffee shops. I can go somewhere else. If I go in and I have a okay one, but the barista is like, oh, I'm new, I'm excited that you're here, and they're enthusiastic, I'm totally forgiving that crappy mocha, and I'll come back. That's the person who sold us on our wine club member was a brand new staff. She totally admitted she didn't know all the stuff, but her enthusiasm and her love of what she was doing showed through. Skills trump tasks. It's taken 8 weeks. They better have good skills first. So if your reaction to the thought of trying to train soft skills or people skills is ew, if that's you, then go to my YouTube, go to my website, go to my Facebook page. There's lots of tools that you can use that just help you do this, okay? I want to support you. So my goal today was to transform you and give you some, bring your shoulders down, moving you from stressed out to a little bit more confident and a little bit more calm with these 4 steps. I know there's a lot of information that I've thrown at you very quickly. Typical hour webinar says you should only do 3 things, and I do 4. But I would like to know what are some of your ahas. I would like you to just, like, my business name means Kaizen means continual improvement. Just take the next step, just take one thing and make a little tiny bit of step towards moving to that calm state. Again, this is our future pacing. This is what we want to imagine ourselves. That you have this highly qualified, skilled staff that you can confidently leave in charge. You can either work in your business, or excuse me, work on your business instead of in it, or you can take a vacation, or get a massage, something like that. So at this time, what I'd like to, we're going to have 5 minutes. Woohoo! 5 minutes. I would like to hear your ahas, and if you have any Q&A. If you're shy, you can drop them into the chat, and if not, just unspeaker yourself, okay? And tell me what those ahas and those Q&As are or might be. Oh, how are you thinking of it? I remembered the thing I wanted to tell you. There's a business owner friend of mine right now is desperate to hire. He needs to hire three people. And you hear of Indeed, and remember I said that where are these A players? Where are they? They're either somewhere working or they're waiting for the next opportunity that resonates more with them. She found 2 people, and I love this example because one she found on Indeed, right? The other one, her staff overheard a conversation and said, "Hey, you might like to apply for this job." They got poached, basically. Okay, so it's a great fit, right? The things that the structure that my business owner friend has set up for this person were it was like this. It was like a match made in heaven. This person wasn't satisfied in their job, but they were doing a good job. And her own staff that she knows is an A player was able to do some recruiting for her. So if you have A player staff, or you know other people that are A players, definitely give them the information and you're wanting to hire, because birds of a feather flock together. So don't have to always be on Indeed. So what kind of ahas do you folks have in our last few minutes? What surprised you? Hopefully something motivated you. And or do you have any questions?
Do you want us to just tell you what we think?
You
Is that
bet.
easier? Okay. I like the top grade, the ABC players. I thought that was sort of aha, because it definitely fits in my organization. But then I think the one piece I'm struggling with is, okay, if you have somebody employed, how do you motivate them? How do you get them to be the A player you want them to be? I don't want to have to go hire somebody and lose that 33%, but I'm not happy with what I have. So how do we get them to where we want to be?
That is an excellent question. Okay, so a couple things. So if you have the people that you have an A player and then you have a maybe, are they B or C? If they're that C player, which those people are simply not a right fit and they're a drain of time suck, those C players, you need to start looking to replace them. That's just it. Looking to replace those C players. those B players, the people who are not quite independent and excellent as you'd like them to be, then it's your job as a business owner or manager to set up systems and things that train them and empower them. You have to find out what it is, like when we do this workshop, find out what their motivators are, and then structure your business so that you're hitting those nails on the head. And you can structure the business so that you are hitting those nails on the head, and then make sure that when you're doing your onboarding process or when you're meeting with your team, that you're asking them. And I had a piece of paper where I just asked these questions, and then I had to refer to it. Because remember when I asked you, I said, what motivates you? It's not what motivates your people. I had to go back, and during my meetings with them, having consistent meetings help. I would go back and I would make sure that, I gotta make sure I check those boxes. If they like public accolades, then I want to give them public accolades. If they like accolades, but they don't like it publicly, I don't want to miss the mark. If I just worked with a business owner that gives bonuses, and I said, you might want to find out if the bonuses actually float their boat, because they may not. Because it's tight right now for that business owner. And so she went through and she did an inventory with her staff and thought, oh my gosh, this one here doesn't even care about the money. Well, there you go. You can put that in your pocket. So does that help? Hopefully. And if other people have ideas, feel free to chime in. That's setting up those systems and structures and kind of a rhythm of how you train your employees and then support them.
When I feel like coming out of COVID, it was exacerbated and allowed this person to, work at home and work remote more. And now bringing them back into the workplace has been very challenging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And one of the things, Megan, that I've research is showing is that one of those motivators, the languages of appreciation, is that people are valuing not solely remote work, but a hybrid system where they're sometimes having time to do their work not in the office and other times in the office. So
right.
if a business could be structured that way, some of them can't, but come on. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's hard. People forgot how to not wear soft pants. How to look people in the eye and not do this all the time. What?
Right.
Yeah. Any more ahas? If not, or questions, you're welcome to pop up. I realize we are just in an hour, so I'm happy to stay as long as you want, but I love that you're all here. And I love that you're doing your stuff, and I definitely support you. I want to give you all a big hug and say, take a deep breath. Maybe I should just have you, if you drink wine, come to Maryville with me, and I'll give you my wine club stuff for my wine club membership.
I'm good. I took lots of notes.
Thank you, dear. Always a pleasure to have you. I love how much you support these small business owners.
I just wanted to say thank you. It's great to get all this information for myself. A lot of this information is, on par with what we're trying to do, but it's all about time. How much of it as in your business are you able to take over? As if we were a client of yours, what of this do you take over, or do you just coach us doing it?
I kind of like a hybrid sometimes, depending on the person's needs. Yeah, it's a hybrid. I can sit down and have a cup of coffee or a glass of wine with you if you want to talk about it. Because it is hard. There's a lot to do. Yeah, I'm happy to. We can schedule a call if you want to.
Okay. That would be great. I was actually thinking it would be amazing to have someone else talk to my team to say, hey, your work is valuable. Every, interaction with the client reflects on the business and have them understand. I mean, I can kind of say stuff till I'm blue in the face, but having someone else sometimes is Right.
Yes, I love doing that. I've done individual workshops for groups, and I do them publicly, sometimes privately. I love doing that, and I work with the owner to think, what kinds of things do you want to have reinforced here? What kinds of things help? And like for yours specifically with the service-based industry, I get so excited about teaching people how, like their first impressions and how that affects people and what they should be doing and how much they matter to your business. Because when they not only feel like they matter, but they also have a few skills to like successfully matter, make a difference in your business, they're very much more likely to do a good job, to be responsible, and to stick around, which is what we want. So, yes, 100% love doing workshops like that with staff. Love it. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You bet. You bet. We'll do the mom said no, go ask dad. We'll pull that on.
It is. I mean, because I've from time to time I'll give them surveys like how valued do you feel? You know, how as an employer, and it's really hard to drag information out of people when I'm asking, but if someone else is asking, it might be right.
Yeah, that's true. I do when I work with clients. One of the first things I do is I start with a very private staff interview where the staff and I sit down and they have full confidence that things are not going to be shared with their owner, which typically they normally don't care. But you are right. People, no matter how open and whatever you try to be, there's always going to be this, what's my boss? Can I really say it? So yes, doing that inventory and finding out those things is one of the things that I do as well. It's part of that. It's part of that whole process. And yeah, it's fun. And then I develop relationships with them. Then, and only then, when I develop that relationship with them, are they way more open to hearing what I have to say when I'm teaching them stuff or helping me to help correct them. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Thank you. Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Have a great one.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you both. Bye. Figure out how to stop my video here. There we go. Have a great one.